Good afternoon, Tiegerman parents, families, friends, and of course to our beloved students if you're watching, greetings. My name is Dr. Jeremy Tiegerman. I'm the director of Tiegerman Schools. I'm coming to you today from my office. Today is Friday, May 1st, 2020. Checking my records here, we will have completed as of today 6 full weeks of remote learning and 4 full weeks of teletherapy. Today's program will be a little bit shorter. I know last week I said that the presentation would be a little bit shorter and then I kind of went on and on, but I have a few updates for you and I have a very important and useful video tutorial that I will be sharing with all of you. We'll get that to the end. A couple of updates. Your principals or your building leaders should have forwarded out to all of our parents and families this past week 2 separate surveys. One survey relating to your experience about remote learning and teletherapy to date, and then another one that can be done directly through the SurveyMonkey program relates to how you are feeling and your thoughts on eventually having your children returning back to school. So these 2 surveys are very, very important. We appreciate all of your feedback, and we hope that when you have a chance, I know sometimes things get very, very busy and hectic at home, please fill it out. It will be very useful to us in helping us to make decisions and to consider your thoughts and feelings about some very important topics that we're faced with today. Today, Friday, May 1st, you may have already seen, but if you did not, Governor Cuomo made an announcement about schools. Previously, he had made an announcement about a New York pause that went through May 15th. He has now declared that all schools in the state will be closed through the academic school year, which would take us at June. So for public schools, this ends their school year at June. We are in the same boat as many of those public schools, so we will remain in remote learning through June. But as many of you are aware and probably already know, all of our students are students with 12-month mandate programming. And it will be very important for us to get clarification in the next coming weeks on what we are going to do or what we will be directed to do starting July. Will we be returning in July, or will we be continuing to do remote learning? So once we hear anything, we will let you know immediately. I apologize also, I seem to always do this. I want to, just as I've been doing the last couple times, thank all of our frontline workers, our essential workers, our first responders. We thank you. I thank you. I appreciate all that you're doing. You are helping to keep us safe during these very challenging times. And from all of us at Tiegerman, we appreciate all that you're doing. I also appreciate all that you're doing, parents, also. If you're not first responders or frontline workers, you've had a very challenging task, and you've done a wonderful job educating your children and working with us at Tiegerman to work collaboratively to be as successful as we can be during these very challenging times. So bravo to all of you. The last portion of my presentation relates to a rollout that I have been talking about the last couple of weeks. I feel that the feedback that we've been receiving from all of our parents, from all of our families, from our students, and from our staff has been that things have gotten easier. While it's not perfect, we have gotten more comfortable, and we've been able to access and acclimate to the instruction through the website and through teletherapy in an easier manner. And so some of you may be saying, well, things have gotten better. Why are we going to make a change here? I'm going to be throwing a wrench in it, right? We are going in another direction. with our educational platform. And I can announce today that we will be rolling this out in all Tiegerman buildings. So preschool, elementary school in Glen Cove, middle school in Glen Cove, high school in Richmond Hill, and K through 12 Tiegerman at Woodside, starting Monday, May 11th. This next entire week will be spent helping all of you to ramp up for this start date and to provide you with the tutelage, with the information, with the support necessary to seamlessly transition into the Google platform world. A couple things. In addition to the Google Classroom that all of you will be embarking on, and I've gotten, through my research, I've seen it, it's a wonderful, wonderful program. Many parents have asked for it, and we heard what you were saying. We felt that we had gotten our system right, but didn't want to kind of pivot in another direction and confuse anybody. But we had gotten so much feedback from parents and families that they wanted this, and the more that I did research and worked with my building administrators, it was a no-brainer. So we're doing that, and we're going in that direction, again, starting Monday, May 11th. The other piece to this is, what do we do about the teletherapy? You know, weeks ago, we had heard that the DOE and some other schools were having major concerns about Zoom. And as we continued on our journey with teletherapy, parents, families, therapists, the educators in our schools have become very comfortable with it and had not one single incident regarding Zoom. And along the way, we noticed security updates, and we continue to feel very comfortable with it. But we went back and forth with our stakeholders, educational stakeholders, with our families, with their feedback. And while we were going to go in the direction with the Google Classrooms, we said, okay, maybe we need to look in another direction from Zoom and do their Google Meets within the Google Suite and just have it one-stop shop under one roof. And what I'm going to be telling you now is that we are going to give the schools, we are going to give the parents, we're going to give the therapists the option of utilizing Zoom or Google Meets for teletherapy. Okay, so I just want to repeat myself so I'm very clear. For teletherapy purposes, depending on comfort level, depending on what your preference is, therapists and parents and students will work out between themselves what is the platform that will work best for their therapy sessions. As far as Google Meets or Hangout for the classroom situation, instruction, live presentations, teachers will have to use Google Meet. They will not be using Zoom. It will be teachers instructing the classrooms within the Google Suite programming. Therapists will have the opportunity to do teletherapy, however that is worked out with the child and with the parent. Should you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out to your building leaders, teachers, therapists. They'll be able to answer this, because after this video, I will be communicating to all of our buildings what I have just communicated to you now. You can also email me at social@tiegerman.org with any questions, comments, and concerns. I'm always open to your feedback. So without further ado, we wanted to start the process of rolling out Google, and I had many thoughts about this. And as I said several times, I'm very concerned about doing this in a very organized manner, because I don't want to, we've just gotten comfortable with this, and we kind of have pretty firm, standing here. We don't want to confound any of you or confuse any of you or make your jobs any harder than it already is. So I really wanted to take this slow and try to communicate with you as much as I can to make sure that this transition is as seamless as possible. So from building to building, the Google Classroom is going to look very different. I know that for the middle school and high school, due to departmentalization, it's going to look very different than it will appear to many of you in the preschool, elementary school, and Tiegerman School at Woodside, because everything will be within the one teacher's tile or classroom. There may be other things to click in, so you may see physical education, or you may see music or art in another menu or another tile within Google Classroom, but definitely it's going to look very different from building to building. And I want all of you to know, in addition to this very brief tutorial that I'm going to show to you today, all of next week, your therapists will be working with you. If they choose to go through the Google Meet platform, they will walk you through it. Teachers, teaching assistants, administrators will be in touch with you next week to help walk you through how to navigate the Google platform. You should also be receiving emails, notifications, hard copies, whatever the buildings plan to do. They will be sending you literature on trainings so that you can find the best ways to navigate the new programming. And you will also see additional videos that we put out. We will probably put out more videos next week from the building principals that will be building specific to show you what it will look like in each building, the Google G Suite. Okay, so without further ado, I wanted to show you, with the help of a wonderful administrator, Mrs. Nina DeVita, who's a principal at Woodside, what it would look like for you if you just started from scratch and went into a classroom. Many of you, based on from what I've heard before, that many of you have children who utilize Google Classroom in other buildings or in other programs for your children, so this is not going to be new for you. But I wanted you just to get a sense of what it would look like. So this is not an actual classroom. This is a fake classroom that we created. I just want you to kind of get comfortable with what it would look like once you entered in a username and password. And this is another important piece. Instructions will be coming to you this week about your logins. So this is important. You will have a login and password that you and your child will utilize to access the Google Classroom platform. So this information will be coming to you shortly. But we created just a fake account to show you what it would look like. Where can you find assignments? Where can you find classwork? Where can you find announcements? Okay, it will not always look this way in your child's classroom, but a general sense of where you may find these things. Additional questions that you have about your classrooms, your assignments, your announcements, please forward them to your building administrators or to your children's teachers. Let's see if this works. Here you go.
Hey everyone, my name is Nina DeVita and I am the Tiegerman School at Woodside principal. I have been asked by Dr. Tiegerman to create this video for everybody to log in initially to Tiegerman's new program, Google Classroom, that we're implementing for our remote learning program. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and we are ready to begin. So although each Google Classroom amongst all the buildings, the elementary school, middle school, high school, and Tiegerman School at Woodside might look a little different, the initial process of signing into Google Classroom should be the same across all buildings, okay? So I'm going to start by opening the Google Chrome as my internet browser. You can choose to use Internet Explorer or Safari if you have a Mac computer or device, but the simple steps are the same for everybody. The first step is you're going to go to www.google.com. From here, in the right-hand corner, you're going to click Sign In. Okay, and now I'm going to share some important information for you. Every student should be receiving their username and password from their school or their homeroom teacher perhaps, but for the most part, everyone's username is going to be their first initial and their last name at tiegerman.org. So in this case, I'm going to pretend that my name is Bobby Smith. Okay, so my first initial is B and my last name is Smith, so my username is bsmith@tiegerman.org. Okay, it is important for all families to realize that this is not a working email address. This email address was just created as a username for the Google Classroom system. Okay, the students will not be receiving any emails through this @tiegerman.org email address. Again, it was just created as a username so that everybody has the same kind of handle to log in. Okay, so my username is going to be bsmith@tiegerman.org, and everyone's initial Google Classroom password is SLCD2468, where the S is capital. Okay, so I'm going to log in right now using this information. Well, I'm going to go back to Google Sign In, and I'm going to enter first initial, last name, bsmith@tiegerman. Next button. And again, the initial password is, I'm going to show it so everybody can see it, capital S, lowercase l, c, d, 246. Click next. Google is then going to welcome you to your new account, and you have some pretty much terms and agreements to accept on the Google side. So I'm going to accept. And then everyone's going to be prompted to change your password to a unique password of your choosing. Okay, so I'm just going to create a generic password myself. I'm going to confirm that password. And I'm going to click Change Password. Oops. Okay, and that worked. So now I'm going to go to this 3x3 square. That is kind of like my starting point when I log into Google. I click Account. And then this is Welcome Bobby Smith. This is kind of the settings area for your Google account. Okay, I'm going to click the 3x3 square again. And now you'll see that the Google Classroom icon appears. By clicking this, I'm going to see the Google Classrooms that are available to me. I click Continue. I click I'm a student. And now you will see that I have access to Mrs. DeVita's Tiegerman Woodside classroom. Okay. If your student is part of the elementary school or Tiegerman School at Woodside, I foresee that your student will have one tile which will be their homeroom classroom. Okay. Each of the classes at Tiegerman Elementary School and Tiegerman School at Woodside are self-contained classrooms. So you might have one main homeroom page in addition to maybe pages for specialties like physical education, health classes, music, but there's definitely going to be a homeroom page. For the middle school and high school, you might have multiple tiles. We like to call these little icons tiles, and you'll see multiple tiles that will be a tile for each course your child is enrolled in. So again, the process is just the same to join each of those tiles or each of those classes, okay? You have the option to decline or join. You're going to join every class that there is a tile for. In this case, I'm just going to join my Tiegerman classroom. Okay, it takes a few seconds to join the class officially, but here we are. Bobby Smith is now a part of Mrs. DeVita's Tiegerman School at Woodside classroom page, okay? So every time you log into Google Classroom, you get like little tips, little pop-ups that show up. So you can create posts, share information and questions with your class, and you just either X out of these little tips or you can click at it. But this is basically the mainstream of your teacher's Google Classroom page. So you can share something with your class if you want to post something, but here Mrs. DeVita just put a basic post of welcome to Mrs. DeVita's Google Classroom. The teacher can also add comments. Everyone participated in all of yesterday's Nearpod lesson. Great job, everyone. Okay, but this is the main landing page of the Google Classroom. It's what they call the stream, okay? Another important part of your Google Classroom is, of course, the classwork. So if you click up here, okay, topics are filtered here. Another tip that Google is offering right now. Click got it. And this is how I have designed my Google Classroom for everybody to sample, okay? As you can see, I have the math assignments, social studies assignments, science assignments, and English assignments. Okay? This is how I've chosen to arrange my Google Classroom. Again, it's going to look different for every teacher, however they choose to lay it out. But for now, this is how I've chosen it. And I wanted to just show you how I have linked my Nearpod access code for one of my math lessons to my Google Classroom so that there's no longer a need for any access codes or copy and pasting between the Nearpod website or the Nearpod app and the teacher's webpage on Tiegerman.org. Okay, we're using Google Classroom only, kind of as your one-stop shop for all the information for all students. Okay, so let's say on Monday, May 4th, my math lesson is going to be translating expressions. Okay, I click it and a drop-down comes up. Okay, so any instructions or teacher notes which pertain to this lesson are going to be found here. The teacher's going to leave you a note if there's a note that needs to be left. Okay, and right here is the Nearpod lesson that goes for Monday, May 4th. And you can see once I click that lesson, it automatically brings me to the Nearpod website. I would type my name, but if everybody logs in correctly through Google Classroom, it would be here, but I can change this to be Bobby Smith because that is my name for this class. And I'm going to click join session. And it's easy as that. Now I'm participating in my teacher's translating algebraic expressions Nearpod lesson. And I just click it and continue to complete Nearpod lessons as I was previously as part of our remote learning program. Okay. In addition, Mrs. DeVita has also left me a PDF that goes along with the lesson. So if she wants any notes or wants me to just follow along with the worksheet, this can also be added as part of the lesson for Monday, May 4th in math. Okay. I can go to my social studies lessons by clicking social studies assignments, or as before, I can just scroll through all of my assignments that are listed. Okay, so social studies assignment, there's another Nearpod lesson, and again, no more access codes. It's as simple as that. It brings me right to the Nearpod website. Okay. So to get back to the main part of the Google Classroom, you can click the name of the class, you can go back to the stream. Eventually, there'll be teachers that are a part of the classroom and the students' names. Your classmates will be listed here. But for now, this was just, again, a general overview of how you can log into your Google Classroom. Okay? If anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns with Google Classroom, please feel free to reach out to myself or your building administrators or your child's homeroom teacher directly. But I hope this was a quick little guide to show you how to initially log into your Google Classroom. Okay, and you can just click this B here for Bobby Smith. It'll have your student's first name initial, and you can sign out when you are done completing the lessons for today. But for now, I hope everybody remains safe and healthy. We miss all of our students. We cannot wait to see you when the stay-at-home order is lifted. But again, for now, we miss you, and we will hopefully see you all soon. Thank you so much. I hope this was helpful.
Thank you, Mrs. DeVita. That video was so well done and was definitely very informative. So parents, hopefully from that video, that will be a good, comfortable first step should you not have had any experience before with the Google platform, to get comfortable with it, to see it, and to recognize or to take a look and get comfortable with the platform and the basics of the Google Suite platform in the classrooms. That today completes my next video presentation. I wanted to thank all of you for all that you are doing. I want to thank the first responders, parents. You're doing a fabulous job. And I know that in the next week, things will get very, very busy because we will want to be in touch with you. And I know that sometimes these regular calls can be overwhelming, but we really want to make sure that you have the information and the training to transition to the Google Platform Suite as seamlessly as possible. And I don't want you having any problems. You've already had enough issues to date with everything that we've thrown in at your direction. So we want to make this as painless as possible. I do think that this experience will be a much better experience for you and for your children. So please let your teachers, let your building administrators know if you don't hear from them. They should be reaching out to you all individually next week to help walk you through the transition. And hopefully we have a very smooth landing Monday, May 11th, which will be the first day of utilizing Google Classrooms. I want to thank you all again for all that you're doing. I want you to stay well. I want you to stay safe. And I will be seeing you again next week. Have a great week. And should you need anything, please feel free to email me at social@tiegerman.org. Have a nice weekend.